WHPR, and Comcast Cable. You can call in live on the air at area code 313-868-4336, 868-0342, and 868-0351. Of course, the area code is 313. That's 313-868-4336, 868-0342, 80351. And now let's go live to the scriptural discussion with the Son of Man.
In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Most Merciful, the Truthful, and the Most Just. I greet all of you once again who are within the sound of my voice with the greeting words of peace from the Lord of the worlds, Allah's Salam Alaikum. Sometime in the very near future, I'm going to get back with you and teach in more depth on what the Honorable Elijah Muhammad told you that he had been teaching for 43 years. As the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, he said, for 43 years I have been preaching that God is man. He said, for 43 years I have been teaching that one day you will wake up to know. You will wake up and agree with me. And he looked at them, so many of them out there. He said, and from the looks of your numbers here today, it seems that you're waking up. And but we know that it just seemed that way. You know, a lot of people that wasn't paying attention, they didn't agree with him, but the majority of Caucasian people who were in rulership positions, they've been knowing that. And they've been telling you that all your life, and you just didn't pay them no attention. They told you Jesus was God in the flesh. And they even gave you a picture of him. And nobody said, no, God ain't no man. You didn't. But anyway, even though that was that image they gave you of themselves was not accurate. But for a time, as the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, that they, Caucasian people, they were the gods of this world. And but anyway, I'm not going to get into that right now. I want to go back to something because the Spirit of Allah is moving through our people. And I'm talking about the former slaves of America. And I use the term former because I don't want to insult anyone. Because that is the mindset of us right now. But if we really sit down, and when we really sit down and have a discussion about race and racism, which is on the way, we're going to do it. We're going to have to, as I told you. That's coming. You're not going to hide and pretend no more. If more people was like, if more white people was like, what's the national director of the Klan? What was his name?
Thomas Robb.
Like Mr. Robb. And more black people were like me, we could sit down and come to an amicable agreement. But you want to play games and want to pretend that ain't racism don't exist. Even the Supreme Court done got in on the line now. And using that to perpetuate their racist views. you know. But anyway, we ain't gonna worry about it. Not right now, because I want to show you some other things. Now, by the way, this is not my name. Ain't Glenn Beck, and my name is not Rush Limbaugh. I'm not on here to try to twist and make a lie look like the truth. Anyone who has a disagreement with anything I say, and you want to take me to task about it and make me prove something that I say is true because you don't believe it, you unmute your phone in the conference room. It's just press *6, and the number to the station is area code 313-868-0351, 868-0342, or 868-4336. And you can feel free. If you think that I'm saying something that is inaccurate or erroneous, and I don't, I'm not as well educated as many of you who are listening, but I do know how to listen. And so I hear people use terms and I look them up. You know, the root word of erroneous is error. And so if you hear something that I say that is, I remember once Royal said my teachings was full of errors. And I asked him about it. And when he just said I was saying I'm the Son of Man, I said, that's not my teachings. I said, that's who I'm telling you I am. What am I teaching that's erroneous? And he couldn't say nothing. And so I left it alone. By the way, somebody had asked me about Royal. And I told him, I don't know what Royal doing now. And a brother that has been kind of in touch with what's been happening with the UNOI, that means United Nation of Islam, as what Royal called what he was doing. The brother told me that Royal had now joined the Moorish Science, the Moors. That he's a member of the Moors now. He was, they was taking him in to that. He's no longer claiming to be the Lord of the Worlds. So, well, you know, I mean, well, he said that when after our meeting, Royal told the people that was with him, he said, this will never happen again. And that's the same with Geno Jennings and all of the rest of them people. Just like when I went up there with Mr. Neubauer in South Haven, Michigan, one of the preachers who was in there listening to his and my discussion invited me to his church and said, we'll do it at my church. And so I said, okay, you set the date and the time and I will come on up there. And because he thought he could do better. But I guess he went back and listened to it some more because he called us and told one of my followers. Which one of y'all did he talk to?
I think I remember him standing before.
It's been so long ago. But anyway, the preacher. No, I'm not talking about Mr. Neubauer. I'm talking about the other preacher. He said, I'm not going to help the Son of Man convert white people. And so I, you know, I mean, any of them that listen to me, haven't you noticed how quiet white folks are when they coming up here accusing me of something? You ain't accuse me of no racism. I mean, even when I was in the Marine Corps, the brothers, nobody you can't pick my friends for me, man. Don't nobody tell me I ain't crazy about white folks, but I ain't got no dog in no hunt just because a man's skin is white that I'm gonna go help you jump on him or something. I ain't into that. And so I got along with whoever wanted to get along. But you don't fix your mouth to call me no Tom. Let me give you this. Let me clue y'all in on something. When you hear a black man call another black man or Uncle Tom, that's our way of saying, here's a black man that don't care nothing about black people. That's what we mean when we say that. That's why they don't put no mic in my face, because you can't turn right into wrong with me. I don't say things that I can't prove. I ain't laid back like President Obama. Brother's just cool, man. He don't, what they call him, no drama Obama. But that's why people stumble over me, because I'm not laid back like that. You notice the surface of the sun. The surface of the sun looks quiet and peaceful until you look at it under that them spectroscopes that they have. I don't forget what kind of not a microscope, but a telescope that they have that you can actually look through and see the sun. Man, the sun has constantly got eruptions and stuff going on it. That's the way my mind is. But don't you mistake those eruptions for emotionalism. You may hear me, Allah told me, what I say to you, son of man, in your ear. You remember Jesus said, he that hath ears to hear, let him hear. You notice we got ears. We don't have ear. We have ears to hear. You got two ears, don't you? Those are ears. So I have a spiritual ear, and Allah spoke to me through his prophets from his mouthpiece. The prophets was God's mouthpiece. And he said, what I say to you in your ears, that you speak from the housetop. If you get up on top of a house and try to talk to somebody, you got to raise your voice. So it make you want to shout. But anyway, I love our president. I really do. I never thought I'd hear myself. I never thought I'd hear myself defending America. But here I am. The messenger, when he was asked, where's the promised land? He said, the place where you in. I mean, any of them that want to come talking crazy to me, I know they wasn't listening to the messenger. Even though they lie and say they love the messenger and they following the messenger, you wasn't following the messenger. You was doing your thing and in the name of the messenger. But you can't do it now. And if I was making a lot of ministers and captains and lieutenants and stuff, I'd have lots of followers. Because that's all you really want. You want to be up over somebody. You don't want to be a brother. That's why you stumble over me. Because I'm a brother. I don't try to pretend to be more than I really am. You notice I stand up here and laugh and talk, and sometimes some of y'all, you say, what the well, he's standing up there giggling. He's the only one laughing at his own jokes and stuff. Well, I don't care about you. Well, I'm me, man. When you put on an act, pretty soon, you're going to say, I'm tired of this. People don't know what you're talking about. But I know what you're talking about. You tired of pretending to be something that you're not and blaming it on the people that's you think that's making you have to act like that. Ain't nobody making me have to act like nothing, because what you see is what you get. This is me. Now, now what was I finna tell you? But anyway, let's. I wanna take you to something here and show you. I want to prove a point that I was making. So I want you to look at this, and then remember. Now, when they couldn't get over there to Jeremiah right fast enough, when they heard him saying, he didn't say God bless America, but God blessed America or something, And then they tried to tie the president when he was in his campaign to that. I mean, and when they got up in the preacher's face, he really wasn't equipped to deal with that. See, you can't look. Let me explain something to you. I remember the messenger said once when he was teaching and talking about, he was railing on white people about what they had done to us and whatnot, and the injustices that we were suffering. And he told those who was listening, this is in the Theology of Time, a series of lectures. He said, now I'm the only man of your kind who can stand up and talk like this. And don't you try to do it unless you say what I said. You say the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said it. That's what he was saying. Because he said you'll be like the foolish Peter. Just because he saw Jesus walking on the water, he thought he could do it. And so Jesus called him out there. And the foolish man began walking, and then he started sinking. You see, you cannot teach what you do not understand. You cannot put up arguments in an arena that you are not thoroughly knowledgeable in. Do you understand? And so the Honorable Elijah Muhammad told the whole nation of Islam, he said, look, if you find yourself getting impatient, then you pray to Allah for patience to wait on the Lord. And don't try to run ahead, because you will run into something that you can't put out of your way. You see? And, I don't say these things as an insult to Caucasian people, for it's never an insult to a man to tell you, when you tell him something that is true. It's not an insult. There's no Caucasians and nobody on this planet that can come in here and hold their own in an argument with me about what I teach. How in the world you gonna test me on what I'm teaching when you don't have no knowledge of what I'm teaching? I'm the only one who knows these things. So they don't throw no microphone up in my face talking about prove this and prove that and trying to accuse me wrongly of anything. How in the world you gonna call a man who got his forum open to any and everybody and is proving it every day? And every time I get on there, how you gonna call me a bigot? You can't fix your mouth to call me a bigot. I love to hear what people got to say that might disprove what I have to say. I love that. Because if I am misleading people, I don't know it. I'm not a liar. Most of you all, you think when somebody tell you something that's not true, that they are lying to you. You don't know what a lie is. Then you want to come in here and pop off. A person who tells you something that's not true is not necessarily lying to you. They may truly believe what they are saying. Now you can tell them that, hey, whoever told you that, that's not true, that's a lie. But you don't say that the person is lying to you unless they know that what they are saying is not true. And like many of you politicians do, you tell lies to people, that you say things to people that you know is not true, which makes you a bunch of liars. And that's why they don't want to talk to me. Because if I call you something, I can prove it. And if you don't believe it, tell me to prove something that you heard me say. And if you don't want to hear it, don't tell me to prove it. The Holy Quran says, "O you who believe, ask not questions that the answer to may give you trouble. For a people before you asked such questions and became disbelievers therein." And Allah tells me, "And if thou answer them, there's no blame on you." No, you shouldn't have asked if you didn't want to hear the answer. Now you listen to this and look at this.
Congressman Benny Thompson, he's a Mississippi Democrat, ranking Democrat on the House Homeland Security Committee. He called into the New Nation of Islam radio program and said that he thinks Minority Leader Mitch McConnell is a, quote, racist. He said the Republicans are only against Obamacare because President Obama is an African American. And then he said this about Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas.
Clarence Thomas.
Oh, yo, brother. I'm brother.
You said that I did.
And he went on to suggest that it's almost as though Justice Thomas doesn't even like black people. He doesn't like being black. You caught up with him. What did he have to tell you?
He doubled down on those comments. Calling him an Uncle Tom, though, isn't that a racially charged term?
For some it is, but...
Look, whenever you come up to black people, let me tell white people this. If you're going to come up and call us on the carpet about anything, you should first learn our language. It's an established fact that the name that we have for black people who work with racist white people against black people, we call them Uncle Toms. What Clarence Thomas went along with that the Supreme Court just did was a slap in the face to Martin Luther King, a slap in the face to Rosa Parks. It was a slap in the face to anybody, and he don't mind being called black, so it was definitely a slap in the face to the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. It's a slap in the face to every black man, woman, and child that struggles to get dignity and respect for our people. And we all, I'm going to tell every black person that's listening, and just-minded white people, we ought to start a petition and ask Clarence Thomas, especially Clarence Thomas, to resign and retire from the Supreme Court. Even the very title Supreme Court is too high for a man who thinks like him about his own people. Let me show you something. I was looking at this the movie, man, and I saw something in it that reminded me of Clarence Thomas, and I had to record it because it was just right on. It was right on point. You know, I ain't like some of y'all. You think you ain't supposed to look at TV. Look at TV. You look at TV for the wrong reason. Let me let you see these things. See. Now I want you to look at this and see if it don't fit what Congressman Thompson and myself and most black people would ask Clarence Thomas.
Especially that. Just tell me one thing. What is it about your own people that you hate so much? Especially that. Just tell me one thing. What is it about your own people that you hate so much?
That's the question I'd like you to answer, Mr. Thomas. What is it about your own people that you hate so much? You know, I told you I'm the last one that you ever want to pick a fight with. You just think you want to fight with me. I'll take your own words and use them against you. Just like it's written, I say unto you that every idle word, that means every false word that men shall speak, they shall give account of it in the day of judgment. Now let's get back to this other thing here. Now, you notice, I want you to go, I'm going to back this thing up here, and I want you to pay attention to something that you might just not be paying attention to. Now, I'm gonna pause it when it gets to it.
Said that he thinks Minority Leader Mitch McConnell is a, quote, racist. He said the Republicans are only against Obamacare because President Obama is an African American. And then he said this about Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas.
Who you see standing up there in that picture there, in the background there, between these two? You see these? You put it back on me now. You see they got a picture of me in the background now. You see I'm in the background, right? Now put that back on there. How come didn't nobody want to come talk to me? You're gonna have to talk to me sooner or later. And if I was you, I would talk to me while I'm willing to talk to you. Okay? Now, want to try to make Benny Thompson back off of what he said. Now, we supposed to sit back, quietly watch while people that climbed up on our shoulders to get where they are spit on us when they get up there. S-P-I-T. They spit on us. I know it rhymed with something else. And that too. And we supposed to accept that. And if we say anything to express our displeasure, now here you come up here with a microphone. Was that the proper talk, or was that proper for you to say that? You didn't ask Clarence Thomas, is that proper for you to turn on your people like that? Nobody put a microphone in Clarence Thomas's face and say, hey, why did you vote down? Why did you vote against the good of your own people? Why did you do that? Why do you want to undo all of the things that were set in place to redress some of the grievances that your people rightfully have against this government and how it has treated us? I should say how it has treated them. Why don't some of you white people go up into Clarence Thomas and ask him, why is he doing like he's doing? So this is how it goes. It's all right for you are pleased with me if when people mistreat me and my people, I just say ouch, but don't get on the people who mistreat me. You don't mind me saying ouch, but don't say that the people who making me say ouch, don't address them. I don't see white people doing that. When people do you wrong, you confront them. And I mean, man, y'all got some double standards around here. Let me show you some of your standards. Let me see here.
CPAC just concluded. That's the largest conservative gathering, and there were a lot of speeches, and Harvey Kane, for one, as we showed you last week, called all liberals stupid, which is rather ironic, and of course also ironically said that liberals like to do name calling. I wonder how smart he is that he could give that speech and not realize the intense irony of what he just said. But he's not alone. Almost every speaker called liberals one name or another. Grover Norquist is the embodiment of corporate whoredom. He's basically the whore of Babylon. Any rich person, any corporation want a tax cut, they go to Grover Norquist, they pay him off, and he intimidates Republican politicians into never ever raising taxes. So he's going to do that here, and then on top of that, just for good measure, he's going to insult liberals. Let's watch.
Our job is to say no to tax increases, stop throwing money in the center of the table, put our foot on the air hose, and watch that pile of cash begin to decline. The left is not made up of friends and allies. It is made up of competing parasites.
Now, we didn't call Clarence Thomas a parasite. We didn't call him something that is actually not true. What Grover Norquist said about the left, as he called them, that's not true. Competing parasites? What I said about Clarence Thomas, I invite anybody who can defend that he's not an Uncle Tom, even white people. Dana Bash even asked him, well, if a white person said that, which tell you she don't know what an Uncle Tom is. And how are you going to condemn something that we say when you don't even know what it is? But it just sounds like, see where you mess up is you try to lump everybody that say they believed in the Honorable Elijah Muhammad into the same pool. You can't link me in with W.D. Muhammad and all of these other people that followed him. This is one follower of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad that he never lost. And he said that a long time ago, and they didn't understand what he was meaning. He said, brother tell me that the volume is very low. I don't know. What is it doing on there? Okay. You better turn your phone up, bro. But anyway, tried to, the messenger said a long time ago, he said, I won't lose one follower. And he didn't. And this is the one he never lost. You can see that. I ain't trying to get back to what the messenger taught. I never left it. I just grew in it. And he told me, he said, look, I'm making steps. And when you get up to the platform, you can take a seat. And he said, and if you can walk out of what I'm teaching, you will have to make steps on your own. He didn't say if I could slink out of his teachings. He didn't say if I could crawl out of his teachings. He said if I could walk out of his teachings. Before a baby can walk, he have to be able to crawl. But as he crawls, pretty soon he pulled himself up. And then he starts taking steps in an upright position. Do you understand? I grew up in the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. I learned that as I paid attention to him, that you can't judge nobody by their skin color. He told us that a long time ago. We just didn't hear him. As he said, you go by his color because you did not know who was up under the color. And that goes along with what the scripture says. The scripture says, we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against powers and principalities and spiritual wickedness in high places and the rulers of the darkness of this world. That's the minds rule. That's why I invite anybody and everybody to come in here and express yourself. Let me hear what's on your mind. You better let this mind be in you that was also in Christ. And when I say this mind, I'm talking about the Holy Bible and the Holy Quran. Just like a doctor's mind is the medical books. An electrical engineer's mind is them books that is written on electrical engineering. The mind of Christ is these books that we call Holy Scriptures. And I'm the teacher. I didn't say I am a teacher. I said I am the teacher. Now let's get back here and prove some more things that we had to say to you. We don't like to. I can close that one out and go to something else here now. Let's go back to TV. Just a moment. Okay, now I want you to pay attention.
Answer about been taking some of these things up in a sense. So maybe this is hopeful. Let's turn to the jobs report that many economists at least saw as hopeful, and I think many Democrats, the president certainly as well. But kind of, want to be cautious here. These things can change month to month, but as you see it, we saw the unemployment rate go down, but we saw a lot of people leave the labor force. So
now, the real question, you can pretty much tell the real question that people want to ask by what they asked you last. But this is called a segue. He's being set up now.
Is the message you have? What is your takeaway from this job report?
Well, two things. I am very hopeful. I'm a South Carolinian. The motto of our state is, while I breathe, I hope. And so I live by that motto. But as it relates to this job report, let me say this. I have no idea how many of that 800,000 may have left seeking work because of retirements, because of having reached certain ages, or because maybe some people have passed away. Unless we're going to take a hard look at it.
Now the people like John Boehner and them in Congress there, they think we are so stupid that we don't know why they cut off the unemployment for those who lost all of those good paying jobs, and they call them now the long-term unemployed, and try to suggest that they're not looking for work. And remember, they said that their number one priority was jobs, and you just assumed that they meant creation of jobs. And they let you assume that. See, you have to hear what people don't say. Well, how do you hear what people don't say? Okay, if their number one priority, other than, they had already told you what their major priority was, and that was to make, as they say, Obama a one-term president, right? That was their number one goal, according to Mitch McConnell, the man who say he's not a racist. Well, he didn't say it. You try to imply it, but I wish Mitch McConnell would come in here and talk to me. If he's not a racist, I'll be able to find it out, and then I'll apologize. And I will say, man, we had you wrong, brother. Yeah, I'd call him brother. Because in that, he and I would be the same, because I'm not a racist. But when you stand up and tell the president, you do something to President Obama that I've never heard of, never seen done to any other president, it's not because he done did something that just hurt the country and all that kind of thing, because when he took office, as they have, and I don't like to just regurgitate what people say, but they said it. The economy was bleeding jobs. It was hemorrhaging jobs, just losing it, just losing jobs. The unemployment rate was getting on up there. It was at 9 point something and climbing. Huh? And then the president went on with the stimulus and stopping that by making sure that people who, if he had let those banks, they never told you about too big to fail. But I don't like to get off in that because it's going to make me lose what I was trying to say. But the president, actually, things started getting better under his administration. So I'm trying to figure out, why would Mitch McConnell say that his number one priority is to make that the Republicans' #1 priority is to make Obama a one-term president. I would have thought they'd have been saying, let's impeach Bush. But nobody ever talked about impeaching him. So if it's not racism, what is it? It sure ain't because he hurt the country, because he didn't. No, you know, and now they said jobs was their #1. They focused on jobs. We are focusing in on jobs. We thought that meant he's focusing in on helping to create jobs. That's what we were supposed to think. Like the man on Shooter, when they was getting ready to search him, he said, I don't carry a weapon. And he said, at least when they found his pistol, he said, well, usually. Huh? And so, look, you can't have all of these long-term unemployed still having money come in, because they're going to go spend that money even more so now, which is going to create more jobs. So we can't let that happen. I know you wish I was dead, don't you? There used to be an old saying, God is dead. Not no more. You got a little more time to repent. I'm telling you, you better quit mistreating my people. Well, who are your people? Everybody that's got justice in their heart. You know, all these poor people some of these people, white and black, got cancer, got all kind of diseases, and you mad because the health care is being provided for them out of their own tax money? I remember Pigmeat Malcolm had a nasty mouth, but it's something he said. He said, you keep on with your dirty mistreating, you're going to get something put on you till your heart stop beating. Now, you just keep on. You really don't know what you're playing with. Now, when it was time for our slavery, wrong was winked at. But both eyes open now. Ain't gonna be no more winking. You better straighten it up. I'm telling you, all you people who are in a position of authority that could care less than a damn about people that you are not in authority over. I should say about people who have put you up there to be in authority, that your media and people like Grover Norquist and all these people done dumbed the people down so much that they can tell a man to go to hell and he enjoy packing for the trip, thinking that they mean him well when you could care less about him and anybody else, and your actions is proving it. How could I fix my mouth to tell people that I'm taking money from, that it's a waste of their money to spend it on them if they get sick? The very one who called you a parasite is the real parasite. What is a parasite? He's usually taken from you and you don't know it. Huh? Draining you. And you don't even know he's there. But anyway, I want you to listen to this, because after asking him, now they got a black man questioning a black man, and you can tell who's asking the questions, even though it's a black man doing the questioning. He didn't author them questions. They gave him something to ask. They told him what to ask. Now you just listen.
1,000 and find out exactly why they left will not be put forward in the job report. The fact of the matter is, it's a good, positive report, and they are always looking for a negative. I spend my time accentuating the positives, and if you do that often enough, you will eliminate the negatives.
Well, yeah, and I hate to turn into a negative, but this was something that people were talking about a lot this week, away from the jobs report here. It's essentially one of your colleagues, Congressman Benny Thompson, calling Justice Clarence Thomas, and I'm quoting here, called him an Uncle Tom. Now, he has his own reasons for it, and he stood by it when he was asked about it later. But I don't know, that kind of rhetoric, and it's certainly a negative, but what was your response to that from your fellow congressman?
You notice, he said that kind of talk, and it's certainly a negative. Now he's leading. He's, in court they would call that leading the witness to say what you want to be said. But listen to the response.
Now, he has his own reasons for it, and he stood by it when he was asked about it later. But I don't know, that kind of rhetoric, and it's certainly a negative, but what was your response to that from your fellow congressman?
Well, Benny Thompson is not just a political friend, he's a close personal friend, and we were friends for 20 years before we ever got to Congress together. Now, we all are disappointed. Every African American I've talked to, except maybe one, is real disappointed in Clarence Thomas. Anybody that is voting to limit the right to vote, limit the opportunities to register the vote by African Americans, and you have these federal courts, 3 of them in recent weeks, getting rid of some of these laws that Clarence Thomas seems to be enamored with. That's got me disappointed. That's got Benny Thompson disappointed. That's got African Americans all over this country disappointed. Now, anybody who wants to know what I think about Clarence Thomas, I will refer them to chapters 18 and 19 in the new book that came out 3 days ago. And I hope we're going to talk about.
We're turning to it right now. We are turning to it right now, but I just want to make sure that type of rhetoric, the Uncle Tom, would you use those words, or was that the bad choice of words? Is exactly what I'm asking.
Well, I'm not going to say, I don't use the word, and I wouldn't call members of this administration scumbags, as one of my colleagues from South Carolina, my senior senator, used that word in referring to the members of this administration. Now,
and he didn't go as far as to say, how come you ain't asking him, is it okay to say scumbags? Which is the worst? We call Clarence Thomas what he is. I don't see the administration as scumbags. Now that is an insult. How's it an insult for me to call Clarence Thomas an Uncle Tom when Uncle Tom to me means a black man who does not care about his own black people, and he loves those who hate us more than he loves his own people. Matter of fact, that's who he really loves. He don't love us. His actions prove it. And he's probably angry with me for calling him on it. He don't feel shame. I'm ashamed of him. Let any black man that say he's ashamed of me, call up and tell me, why are you ashamed of me? Ashamed of me for what? And you who love Clarence Thomas, why? What has he done for us? What? Other than been an embarrassment. Now, when I say love him, I mean love what he's doing. I remember my daddy when I was growing up, and I'd do something that offended him or whatnot. He didn't care who was out there listening. He said, "Come here, you little low-down booger, you. Come here." Now, how you think I felt? All my friends standing around, some grown folks standing around, and my daddy come out there and call me a low-down booger. That didn't mean my daddy didn't love me, but he sure didn't love what he saw me doing. And I saw him talk to grown people the same way. And right after he got through blessing them out and telling them, he didn't curse. But when he got through telling them about themselves, they'd stand there, well, Mr. Taylor, they call him Mr. All of them call him Mr. So, but anyway, such and so and such and so and so, and then he tell him, boy, you low down. That's what he tell him. You just low down. Then they'd be done asking for something, and he'd be going in his pocket giving it to him. He said, you need to straighten up. And but he always would help him. And I used to didn't pay no attention as I saw it as a child. I used to be telling them why they let that old man talk to them. And I wouldn't let him hear me say. I was saying somebody gonna bust him in his mouth. So you know, it's just like with me. I can fuss at the person for what they doing without hating them, but I hate what you're doing. You know, Clarence Thomas ought to be ashamed of himself. And the trying to get these black congressmen to condemn Benny Thompson for calling it like it was, and then they didn't get what they wanted though. Because this brother, he didn't condemn Benny. He agreed with him. He just said, well, I might not have used that word. But what about people in the administration calling scumbags? He just flipped the script on them and said, I noticed you didn't have nothing to say about that. But you got something to say when we call a spade, but you got nothing to say when someone really is calling someone something that they are not. You blind guides who strain at a gnat and swallow a camel. Just wait a minute. I'm gonna let you hear some. I'm sorry I cut it off. You need to hear this whole answer, so I'm gonna back it up for you.
Chasing scumbags, as one of my colleagues. But as it relates to this job report, let's say this. I have no idea how many of that 800,000 may have left seeking work because of retirement, because of having reached certain ages, or because maybe some people have passed away. Unless we're going to take a hard look at the 800,000 and find out exactly why they left, we ought not be too poor in the job report. The fact of the matter is, it's a good, positive report, and they are always looking for a negative. I spend my time accentuating the positives, and if you do that often enough, you will eliminate the negatives.
Well, yeah, and I hate to turn into a negative, but this was something that people were talking about a lot this week, away from the jobs report here. It's essentially one of your colleagues, Congressman Benny Thompson, calling Justice Clarence Thomas, and I'm quoting here, called him an Uncle Tom. Now, he has his own reasons for it, and he stood by it when he was asked about it later. But I don't know, that kind of rhetoric, and it's certainly a negative, but what was your response to that from your fellow congressman?
Well, Benny Thompson is not just a political friend. He's a close personal friend, and we were friends for 20 years before we ever got to Congress together. Now, we all are disappointed. Every African American I've talked to, except maybe one, is real disappointed in Clarence Thomas. Anybody that is voting to limit the right to vote, limit the opportunities to register to vote by African Americans. And you had these federal courts, 3 of them in recent weeks, getting rid of some of these laws that Clarence Thomas seems to be enamored with. That's got me disappointed. That's got Benny Thompson disappointed. That's got African Americans all over this.
And just in case you don't know what enamored means, it means in love with. Justice Thomas so in love with all of these things that hurt his people. You just hold on.
Supported. Now, anybody who wants to know what I think about Clarence Thomas, I will refer them to chapters 18 and 19 in the new that came out 3 days ago. And I hope we're going to talk about.
We're turning to it right now. We are turning to it right now, but I just want to make sure that type of rhetoric, the Uncle Tom, would you use those words, or was that the bad choice of words? Is exactly what I'm asking.
Well, I'm not going to say, I don't use the word, and I wouldn't call members of the illicit scumbags, as one of my colleagues from South Carolina, my senior senator, used that word in referring to the members of this administration. Now, which one of those words you find the most ominous?
Well, all right, I will leave it there because I do want to get to the book. And the book is something that a lot of people are jumping on. And I something want you to talk about this. It is a phone call you got from a former president who used some very...
So we thank Congressman Clyburn for not letting them make him condemn Congressman Thompson for speaking the truth. Yeah, look, the day has come and gone where white folks gonna tell us how we can talk to each other. You don't tell me how to talk to my people. You saw what happened when people come in here trying to tell me I don't know how to talk to people. Huh? See, I'm not trying to be politically correct. I'm trying to tell you the truth. You know, if you want to win friends and influence people, you got to learn how to tell people what they want to hear. That's the way this world do it. You got to lead them where you trying to get them to go. Like he was trying to lead the congressman there. I mean, you know, I hate to go from a positive to a negative, and this is a negative, and you would agree that you would agree. No, I would not agree. I will agree that you trying to get me to agree. But you don't put no words in my mouth. That's why they don't want to talk to me too. Because they can't sit up there and say, well, in other words, you saying, no, ain't no other words. I said what I had to say. In them words that I just said. Now, let's go here and let you hear another brother speak up.
V. Stiviano, Donald Sterling's self-described personal assistant at the center of the media firestorm that's erupted around the LA Clippers owner, breaks her silence to ABC's Barbara Walters. He's not a racist, she says, despite Sterling telling her in those now infamous recordings not to bring black people or minorities to his Clippers games. Sterling broke his silence Friday, too, and when given the chance to apologize for those deplorable comments, he had one thing to say. I wish I'd just paid her off. Yep. Sterling spoke out to du jour.
Now that was something to suggest to the ignorant mind and going to plant a seed in your mind that she was trying to blackmail him. Don't buy it. You see, what he really meant was he wished he had bought her off. Let me tell you something. You better listen to words. That's what I got out of that.
Excuse me, gentlemen.
Yes.
Yeah, can we get maybe Claiborne's telephone number like you did Thompson?
I tell you what, call when you call Mr. Thompson, get Mr. Claiborne's number. Matter of fact, considering that they didn't stick no microphone in none of the other black congressmen's faces, we can thank all of them. Because if they could have found one that would come out and condemn what Benny said, they'd have brought him out there. So I'll thank all of them brothers up there. And you ask, when y'all call Congressman Thompson, y'all make sure y'all ask him whatever, what can we as a people do to help y'all? That's what we need to be asking them. And whatever they want us to do, you tell them they can come on here and tell us. And it won't cost them a dime. This is open to whoever want to come on here and tell us whatever. And if we don't agree with you, be ready to convince us. But this ain't no lockstep. I'm not gonna follow nobody blindly. But at the same time, people who stand up for us, when people go to gang up on them or try to lynch them, we should stand up with them. Said, no, buddy, that ain't finna happen. You understand? You scrolling his number across the screen? Congressman Thompson? Yeah, cause you got well. His number is scrolling across the screen on the internet now. What is the number? 202. He live in Washington, huh? Well, he got office in Washington. Okay. Well, you want to call him at his home office, I think. That's where you find. But anyway, they can give you his home office. 202. 225 3315. 202 225 3315. That's area code 202 225 3315. That's an easy number to remember. And you all make sure you call Congressman Thompson and thank him because, we wouldn't have got a chance to see that we got some people up there that's, that really care. They just need a little push. Man, we got a history of when people stand up for us and then they get attacked. Only thing we do is stand back trembling, talking about, boy, they sure did the brother wrong. That day gone, man. No. You see, they jumped on brother. I didn't just shut up. I spoke up. They tried to lynch President Obama. I wasn't going to be quiet about it, and I got on all of them other ones who was helping them. You better shut your mouth. Man ain't tried to do nothing but his job. In a Congress, I can't believe a senator walk up to the president of the United States and say, whatever you propose, we gonna fight it. I mean, what are you? But he ain't no racist. Well, then you tell me, why would he say something like that to the president of the United States? And the president happens to be black. And then answer me, why was that not done to any other president? I ain't heard no history of no senator or congressman walking up to the president of the United States telling him something like that. And then whenever we call you on your racism, then you try to flip the script and say we the racists. Ain't nobody said nothing about black people. Ain't nobody said nothing about, that's you. Yeah, well, let me show you. We see you. Just keep looking at this.
Magazine after a week of silence during which he was banned from all league activities by NBA Commissioner Adam Silver, and fellow NBA team owners voted to move forward with forcing him to sell the LA Clippers. But the one question we've yet to really hear answered is why something wasn't done about Sterling years ago. Sterling was never sanctioned by the NBA, even though there were repeated claims of racial bias on his record. Perhaps most alarming is the housing discrimination suit brought against Sterling, who owns residential rental properties in Los Angeles. In the housing suit, Sterling was accused of refusing to rent to black and Latino tenants, saying, quote, black people smell, and Mexicans just sit around and smoke and drink all day. Sterling denied any wrongdoing and settled the suit for $2.7 million. Both this and another housing discrimination suit may speak to a larger narrative of systemic racism in this country. My panel is back with me to discuss, and we're joined by Todd Boyd, professor at the USC School of Cinema and Television. Professor, I'm going to start with you because I know you have followed Don Sterling for a number of years, and I guess I'll just put a question to you. Why is it that it took this for Sterling to actually be outed, if you will, or stopped?
Well, there are probably multiple reasons. I think in one sort of really straightforward way, Donald Sterling is known as a very litigious, sort of volatile personality. I'm not sure if the NBA really wanted to confront what it would mean to take on Donald Sterling. We'll see how this will play out going forward. But I think maybe at a larger level, it's important to recognize that we live in a society where a very high bar has been set in terms of the public agreeing that certain statements, thoughts, or acts are racist. And so for a lot of people, they probably weren't paying attention. The NBA was certainly paying attention. But when you have housing discrimination lawsuits and consistent settlements, when you have former general manager, filing race discrimination and age discrimination lawsuits, and then, losing in court, the allegations still stand.
Right.
I think we just have a hard time in this society among certain people accepting that racism still exists. And if it exists, people will only accept it when it takes place in such an extreme fashion, such as the comments that were heard on the recording from last week.
Although, you know what, I actually was heartened by the fact that there did seem to be such a broad, swift reaction that basically said, that there's no place for that. I actually thought that was a
Well, I guess if you consider 10 years broad and swift.
Professor, I'm sorry, I was directing that question to one of my panelists here.
Sure, yeah, it was broad and swift there, but he's right that it took this long because there's this strange element of our cultural conversation where the most offensive thing you can do is to call someone a racist, even if they've been acting like a racist their entire career, and then people wind up apologizing for using the word racism. When, if you look at the evidence that backed up that charge, it's all there.
Yeah.
In this particular case, you know, the track record is long here, but
you know what I wish? I wish that we would have the same anger and frustration when it comes to actual public policies. When we actually, if we really want to root out racism and we actually want to call people out, it's like we actually have to create fundamental structural shifts. When we're talking about.
Now that was a really, really profound thing she said, because what it really meant to me was that he's saying if you really want something, you need to go after these people in Congress that's practicing racism and making racist laws and stuff. But anyway, let's finish, because there's some other things you got to hear there. Let me let you hear the rest of it.
When we're talking about fair education for everyone, those will actually change our conversation. That will actually move us so that we can actually be that colorblind society that we claim to aspire to. But just, you know, basically just going after one person, what he did was terrible. It's systemic what he's done over and over. But we actually have to use that energy and actually say, okay, how do we actually start changing the way we view race? And one way is to actually go after public policy.
I'm sorry.
So Joe, you know, to that point, I mean, to me, the housing discrimination lawsuit is actually in some ways worse. I mean, what he said was horrible, but that is systemic racism. The way he systematically, you know, would not rent to African Americans and Latinos, trying to get allegedly, and I will just reiterate that he is just found, he didn't claim any guilt. But the point being, like, I mean, that to me is the much larger issue in terms of, you know, someone's record and speaking volumes about, you know, whether or not a person is racist.
I think the professor delineated all the reasons very accurately, and I'll add one to it and then respond to your point. One is, remember the recording. It hit television. Mm-hmm. We heard it, and therefore it was. And that's the kind of society we live in today. You know, it's one thing to have a court case where there are all kind of records and that type of thing, but the general public didn't hear it all at once. So we heard that. So we had this collective outrage. He did pay dearly, maybe not for a billionaire, but it was the largest HUD fine that was given. And I had Chris Webber and Dave Bing on, two great NBA players, but they said something very interesting, that we as a whole owe Elgin Baylor an apology. The NBA owes him, because Elgin Baylor tried to tell us about this, and therein lies the problem. You know, if anybody knows racism, it's the people who are the victims of racism. But in this day and age, one of the ways to throw that off is to say, you are what you're accusing me of being.
Yeah.
And the ways to throw that off is to say, you are what you're accusing me of being.
Yeah.
That's what they just tried to do to Benny, wasn't it? To Congressman Thompson? Huh? Where'd they get that from? See, you live in a world, and you playing all these games and following basketball, following football, following baseball, and you don't recognize where that come from. Finish these words for me. The best defense is a what? Is a strong offense. So whenever a black man accused a politician, a white man, a white politician, of being a racist, they flip the script. Instead of defending against that, they go on offense. You won't pull that on me. Come on in here. And you through pulling that on our people. Did you hear what Joe Madison said? We see the game now. And it's about time we wake up. Stop being afraid to call people what they are. Now, why you think so many just-minded white people are now coming out saying we need to have a serious discussion about race in this country? Because until you really call a spade, it's just like you go to AA Anonymous, you go to any of these places, before you can start healing, you got to admit what you are. That's why I gave George Wallace credit. That's why I gave Mr. Rob credit. Because he ain't trying to hide what he is. He's telling you what he is. But somebody like Paul Ryan and John Boehner and Mitch McConnell, when you call them on it, then they want to, that's just in your mind. That's just, how in the world is it just in my mind, and I've been suffering it for 400 and some years? I recognize racism when I see it. Was it just in former President Jimmy Carter's mind? When he got on Congress and told them how irresponsible they have been? Yeah, you can call me whatever you want to. But I notice you do all that calling behind my back. Won't you come in here and call me that to my face? So you tell me who's the liar. Since when do the truth run from a lie? And if I'm the one got the lie, if I'm the one with the devil, then the scriptures say resist the devil and he will flee from you. Do I look like I'm running from you? You call some of them depressed, tell them we would like to speak with you. I can't talk now. Can't talk now. He running. Why he running? Because when confronted with the truth, the lie gets manifested. And all this stuff about just be quiet, it's going to be all right one day. No, the longer you be quiet when you hear a lie being told, the longer that lie going to live. The only way to get rid of a lie, you can't ignore it. You must hurl the truth against it. They have an old saying that I've heard, and I got this from Caucasian people. Evil men prosper because good men do nothing. That's like telling your team, look, they done scored 10 points more than us in this last quarter here. But don't do nothing, everything gonna be all right. Don't do nothing. And they're gonna score 20 in the next quarter. Come out, be quiet. Don't get them upset. They don't care about getting you upset. Paul Ryan expresses his true feelings, and then when he get called on it, then well, I you know, my language was not yeah, right. You want to come and you're going to give me the shaft. You're going to stick the knife in me, and while you smiling and pat me on the back, and I'm supposed to say thank you. You call my people lazy. You call my people that our men, all we do is sit around all the time, not looking for no job. We ain't even interested in working and all that kind of thing. And yet, you go all through the black community and you find men seeking jobs, working 2 jobs, and who taking taxes from us? The very ones who say we won't work, but they taking tax money from us. And then when it's time for them to put some programs back in the communities to give us some of that money back in the way of show us that it's benefiting us to give you taxes, because you said taxation without representation is tyranny. And then you come out to the black community and misrepresent us, and you say you're not racist and got one, it's like that, you know who that, when he said that, when Congressman Clyburn said that, well, you know, most of them agree but one. That's that one black Republican. Got one black Republican fella over there, but they ain't racist. We used to call that a token. Got one token black man in there that's foolish enough to let you use him to make it look like you not just a good old boy thing. You notice I'm saying all these things. How come I'm saying, well, that old crazy man down there in Mississippi saying all these racist things about the Republican Party? They don't say nothing about me, huh? There's one other man that they never said nothing about in the public. His name was Elijah Muhammad. He told you that I was coming after him. He told you that. I'm here now. And whatever you say against me behind my back, you're going to be called to account for it. And to my face. Every one of you. Yeah. Now, anybody got a problem with something I'm saying? Why don't you say it to me? Come in here and let's discuss it. I promise you, I will hear facts from you. I will let you come in here with facts, but coming in here thinking you're going to just lecture me, you've been around women too much. That's what women do. They come in and just, gonna tear you off. And I don't mean this as no disrespect, but I've watched women do that all of the time. You can't reason with them when they get mad. You know, they'll say something and you say, wait a minute, that ain't so. And they just keep talking. Well, you expect emotional outbursts from the weaker vessel. Now, I know I offended you with that because you've been listening to the devil too long. The word of God calls you the weaker vessel. Now, you want to come in here clowning with me? I'm not going to hear that from you. I'm not the one who's been lying to you for the last 400 and something years. And told you that the black man is inferior. The black man is lesser. The black man is not a man. And all of that kind of thing. And yet he's scared to let a lesser man get an education. He's scared to let a lesser man have an equal playing field to come on. If we so lesser than you, why you got to spend so much time holding us down? And lying on us. Sitting up talking about that we can't do nothing about excuse me. We can't do nothing about immigration because we don't know whether this president will uphold the law. Well, ain't you been looking for a reason to impeach the president? Wasn't they talking about impeaching him? Make the immigration law so that when he don't uphold it, you can impeach him. You see how stupid they sound? But we supposed to buy that now. I mean, in Benghazi, they done brought that back up. They must think we got a short memory. I want you to, we ain't forgot about you. You know, I learned something. You know how many of us, we get a receipt and we throw it away? Next thing you know, they say, you didn't pay your taxes for such and so year. And you say, I paid them taxes. They say, well, look, where's your receipt? And we will straighten it out. And no, you don't keep receipts, you see. And until you learn to keep a record, people can lie on you and they can lie to you. But that Benghazi lie about the Obama administration, that was dealt with a long time ago. But I know you done forgot. You know, I don't know what they're trying to do with the internet, trying to fix it where they might can take that over. But YouTube, don't you let them do that. The YouTube is a very good site, man. You know, I mean, they keeps good records. Huh? So I want you to, let's see here. Let's put YouTube on. Now, remember this?
Good evening, I'm Chris Matthews in Washington. Let me start tonight with this horrible story of the courageous American ambassador killed in Libya. Chris Stevens sounds like a great guy. Peace Corps volunteer for his more recent career.
Sydney needed some financial guidance so she could take her dream to the next level. So we talked about her.
Give it a minute. It'll boot up in a minute, I think.
Heroically in saving lives in the overthrow of Gaddafi. The tragedy in Benghazi that cost Ambassador Stevens' life, unfortunately, has been overshadowed by the desperate reach by Mitt Romney to secure a political advantage. Hours before the killing, Romney issued a statement accusing President Obama of having sympathized with those making the attacks on the U.S. consulate. He called it disgraceful. Writes previously further, Obama sympathized with attackers in Egypt, the RNC chair tweeted, referring to a similar assault on the U.S. Embassy in Cairo. The accusation that the president sympathized with Muslim militants echoes past attacks from the right. What's new in Romney's statement on Libya is its wildness. The president never said he sympathized with the crowds in Libya and Egypt protesting an anti-Muslim film apparently made in Los Angeles. Never. Time Magazine's Mark Halpert is MSNBC's senior political analyst, and the Huffington Post editorial director Howard Fineman is also an MSNBC political analyst. How did Mitt Romney get into this mess? Take a look at the timeline of events over a very significant 24-hour period. It started yesterday morning about 6 a.m. Eastern Time, noon in Cairo. That's when the American Embassy put out a statement saying it condemns the continuing efforts by misguided individuals to hurt the religious feelings of Muslims. That's a reference to a film promoted in part by the Koran-burning Florida preacher Terry Jones that satirized the Prophet Muhammad. Throughout the day in Cairo, protesters marched to the embassy protesting the film. At about noon Eastern Time, the embassy wall was breached, and the American flag was ripped down around 10 at night. Secretary Clinton released a statement condemning the violence. At 10:09, the Romney camp sent a statement to the press saying, "It's disgraceful that the Obama administration's first response was not to condemn attacks on our diplomatic missions, but to sympathize with those who waged the attacks." Around that time, the White House disavowed the embassy statement from earlier that day. And a few hours later, Republican National Committee Chair Reince Priebus tweeted, "Obama sympathizes with attackers in Egypt. Sad and pathetic." 6 hours later, the AP broke the news that the American ambassador in Libya had been killed when protesters stormed that U.S. mission in Benghazi. Gentlemen, I want to start with Howard Fineman on this. This is one of those strange, tragic, comic affairs, tragic in the loss of the ambassador, other lives working and heroically serving the United States government. Comic only in the political intrigue and perhaps stupidity here of Mitt Romney.
Yeah, well, this is what happens politically when you're a candidate without the facts and with few friends. Okay, he's maybe tied to the poll, but he doesn't have close friends in the politics business. He got the facts wrong, and it's a classic case of jumping out ahead of a fast-moving story, chasing what you think is some kind of immediate political gain. He's going after evangelicals and some other people, including some Jewish voters who may be concerned in this sort of xenophobic way about this clash of civilizations. But he got the facts wrong.
Explain how he got the key fact wrong.
He got the key fact wrong in that the Cairo embassy was not responding to the people scaling the walls. The original statements by the Cairo embassy were long before there was any action at the embassy.
Right.
It was a perfectly fair and judicious statement.
To simply say to stop putting out these movies.
But then what happens to him is Mitt Romney gets caught up after the Libyan assault, which may have been planned, may have involved old pro-Gaddafi forces or al-Qaeda or whatever. Mitt Romney gets swept along and gets discredited for having jumped in too fast, and he doesn't have the friends in politics to defend him. Very, very few defenders other than the head of the RNC and some ultra-conservative Republicans. John McCain's not defending him in any real way. Most of the Republican establishment's not defending him, and of course the Democrats are having their will with him, including the president.
Let me give Mark, I know you've been talking about this throughout today in various platforms, and I want to hear what you have to think about it, Mark. I always see you as a fair-minded guy on these very tricky political questions. This incident is a strange conjunction, I should say, as I said, of a tragedy where apparently a very heroic young ambassador was killed in the line of duty, who has served his country, I think, wonderfully from the time he was in the Peace Corps all through his career in the Foreign Service. There he is, Chris Stevens, getting killed basically in the line of duty trying to defend people in his consulate in Benghazi. On top of that, and distracting sadly from it, is this sort of sideshow. Explain how you put it together, all that happened today.
Well, first I want to say to the families of the 4 Americans who died, as well as American diplomats around the world, this is a very tough day because we need our diplomats out there safe, being able to perform their jobs. The Arab Spring reaction on the American side is going to involve the U.S. military in some cases, but very few. It's mostly going to involve diplomatic efforts, and so it's a very tough day for America. In that context, I think the Governor Romney has every right and obligation to criticize the current administration's foreign policy, but to go off without knowing all the facts and to go off at a time when, if he had something helpful to say, he could have said it privately to the White House, I think is a mistake politically. It may have some political benefit, but in the long run, I think it's a mistake politically. It does cut him off from most Republicans on Capitol Hill, who, as Howard said, have not been outspoken. And I think it's the wrong thing to do. He's right to criticize. He's right to make points. If he has good points to make about how this shows a failure of the president's leadership, let him make it in a day or two when it's not in the midst of a crisis, when the country should be coming together and figuring out how to address a still volatile situation.
Mark says it absolutely right. And Mitt Romney, by stepping in as early as he did, without the facts and prematurely, allowed events to control him, because it became within hours a much more serious and deadly and somber occasion than Mitt Romney realized at the time when he was trying to make cheap political points.
Now I'm going to put that back on. But now they're trying to come up with some papers. They done came up with some papers where they showed, and all of you been looking at it, Daryl, what's his name? Chairman Issa? Daryl Issa, and the rest of them racists up there. And I'm calling you what you are, man. You can't hide that. We recognize racism when we see it. You ain't just trying to make some political points and doing the business as usual. Your motivation is racism. That's why you didn't go along with the president with the infrastructure bill. That's why you didn't go along with the president on the jobs bill, on nothing that he tried to do to bring America into a more wholesome and stabilized state with the economy and the relationship of its people and the government. Here you tried to do everything you could to undermine his presidency and make it look like the government of America was just going to pieces under the Obama administration. Now you come up here with some talking points that all presidents, no secretary of state, no representative of any administration, when they go on talk shows, go out there without being told what they should say about certain things. Because they don't speak for themselves, they speak for the president and his administration. And it's up to the administration to tell them how to answer certain things, especially when all of the facts ain't in yet. Then you want to try to make it look like somebody was trying to cover something up. And want to rehash it all over again. Bring a general up there who they had him up there about to shed some tears, as though somebody stopped him from going in there to do something about what happened over there, when even if he had been sent there, they wouldn't have got there in time to do nothing. That stuff happened in a few minutes once it got started. And no president in his right mind can order American troops onto another country's soil to call themselves doing what? Well, we got an embassy over here. Okay. If you got an embassy in Libya, they have one here. If something go on in the embassy, the Libyan embassy inside of America, can the army of Libya come over here and do something about it? But we all stupid, you know. You know the worst thing you can do. Now I'm going to share a little news with you. Jesus told you this. He said, no man going off the wall goes and before he go fight an enemy, he see if he have sufficient to meet that enemy. And if he don't, he try to sue for peace. The worst thing you can do with anyone you fighting is to underestimate their ability. You have greatly underestimated the power I have, boy. And you think this is a fight. This ain't no fight. In a fight, either side could win. You got no win against me. You better go read up on what happened when the Lamb of God got angry. It's in Revelation, the 6th chapter. And the kings of the earth and every rich man and every bondman and every free man sought to hide themselves in the rocks and in the dens of the mountains, and said, fall on us and hide us from the face of him that sitteth on the throne and from the wrath of the Lamb. For the great day of his wrath has come. And who shall be able to stand? Come on in here and stand and argue with me. And you better go look at them polar caps and stuff again. They still melting. You think you done seen tornadoes? You think you done seen hurricanes? Don't you remember I told you you was going to see hurricanes lined up like airplanes on a runway out there? You sure you want to fight me? You sure you want to attack my people? You sure you want to go after anybody that I've told you to leave alone? Coming up here with all this crazy stuff. After how you sit up there and did Representative Cummings, man old enough to be your daddy, and you treat him like he's a non-person in front of us. Now here you come again. And then ask them hypocrites. Ask them. What would you have done? What would you have had the president to do? What did he do wrong? You remember they said he should have had more guards over at the embassy. Who had cut the funding to send guards over there? It's all right to get angry when you can control your anger. Because if you can't control it, then you have become emotional. And when you become emotional, you can't think. If it wasn't okay to get angry, God wouldn't have made it possible for us to get angry. See, I don't care what you say about me. I got my answer. I answer you before you come at me with it. I know you think, oh, you do this and that. Yeah. Come on in here, get me angry if you think you can. You ain't deep enough to get me angry, boy. I got no buttons on me you can push and make me react. And you're going to find out, you better be glad that I don't. Because you really don't want me reacting. You just think you do. So, I want you to, things that you should be concerned about, you ain't concerned about. They showed you in the news where some of these young men and that's got their finger on the trigger of these nuclear weapons and stuff. They got drug problems and some all kind of stuff. And you better try to get rid of that stuff. But anyway, all of you, look, if you want to know what Chairman Issa and all of them trying to do, just go on YouTube and bring up the old Benghazi things. They figure you done forgot all about it. But no, we ain't forgot it. And so, like I said, keep your receipts, man. See, I kept it. So that when you try to claim that, you done found some new evidence, you ain't found no new evidence. That's like them people who claim you didn't pay your taxes. Show them your receipt. See, we heard this lie you coming up with before. We heard this propaganda.
Yeah, that's right. I think there's the three things people have to understand of what happened here. First of all, the embassy in Cairo, without any approval from Washington, put out a statement saying, call this crazy filmmaking around the world. It's just taunting the Islamic world. Then 6 hours later, the embassy was overrun. And later that evening, of course, the ambassador was killed over in Benghazi, a totally different place. Anyway, today, even before President Obama spoke, Governor Romney doubled down on his statement from last night. Let's listen.
I also believe the administration was wrong to stand by a statement sympathizing with those who had breached our embassy in Egypt instead of condemning their actions. It's never too early for the United States government to condemn attacks on Americans and to defend our values. I think it's a terrible course for America to stand in apology for our values. That instead, when our grounds are being attacked and being breached, that the first response of the United States must be outrage at the breach of the sovereignty of our nation.
You know, it's hard to be even tempted trying to get it straight about this. That was the most terrible statement I've heard in a long time. There he is accusing the president of something he never did. He never sympathized with the mobs. He certainly never sympathized with somebody taking the lives of Americans and American people serving our government. He simply, his people over, not even his people, regular career service people over in Cairo, without any checking with Washington, simply put out a statement before the mob even got at the wall, this call it over there so that they could show that they're not part of this sort of, you know, absolutely outrageous disrespect.
I think, I don't know, Mark, what Mark thinks, but that was, to me, a little painful and infuriating, both painful and infuriating to watch. Because I think Mitt Romney, I'm going to give him enough credit for knowing that the president in this context didn't apologize for anything. You know, did none of the things that he just sympathized. He never sympathized or apologized. Mitt Romney is pursuing a political strategy that is so nakedly and obviously political. As Mark says, maybe it'll help him at some point. But this is a guy who doesn't. Mitt Romney's a guy with not a lot of talent.
They're not calling it what it really is. Racist. No sitting white or Caucasian president, they never would have did that. They never would have even suggested that. Even when President Bush sent us into war, into a country on a lie, they have not called Condoleezza Rice or none of them in there to try to suggest anything. Matter of fact, they sympathize with President Bush. Huh? And you come out here with your racist attitude, with your racist actions, and then when we dare to call you on it, then you want to holler, oh, you the racist. Am I a racist? Let a white man come in here and tell me how I'm a racist. Come on in here. Tell me I'm a racist, so I can play disclosure for you. It says, you know, just like they was accusing Michael Douglas in the movie of sexual harassment of his female boss. She accused him of sexual harassment, and the woman lawyer in there, she told Michael, she said, sexual harassment is not about sex, it's about power. You know, I mean, she as good as told him, someone who's under somebody else's authority cannot harass the person that has authority over them. Do you understand? And, so for her to have been the CEO and him her employee, how could he sexually harass her when all she had to do was fire him? Do you understand? It's like somebody coming in here accusing a black man. What a white man in America look like accusing a black man of being a racist? When have we ever had the power to execute some racist practice on you? You're not going to insult me like that. I'm not taking it. And then because I call you on yours, oh, the best defense, you ain't going to go on no offensive with me. You notice ain't none of them calling. And the ones who are just-minded, they're on my side. They're glad I'm telling you about yourself. And what they really saying is, oh, it's about time. I mean, we can only carry you so far. You got to do something for yourself. That's why the messenger, he said, you know, there's white Muslims in America, and lots of them. And they recognize and respect you. And you must recognize and respect them. You know? I've looked at our vice president, Joseph Biden. I know he cursed sometimes, swear and go on, but you know, I mean, white folks talk like that. But I like the brother. He's a decent man. You know, I mean, it's just, you know, I can't be putting no jacket on people just because they are different color than me. A man that show me respect. The messenger said, you do not disrespect people who are trying to respect you. And I agree with that 1,000%. I most certainly do. I got nothing but good and well wishing in my heart for Vice President Joe Biden and his family. And one day I hope to be able to show it in more ways than just lip profession. Now, you out there who want to come in here and I'll tell you something else. I ain't like you. A white man ain't got to hate his people to be my friend. I wouldn't trust him to be my friend if I see he hate his own people. Clarence Thomas think he got some white friends. Them people ain't thinking about you, man. They see you don't care nothing about your own people. Who in the world trusts you to care anything about them when you ain't got sense enough to care about your own people? They may grin with you. They may slap you on the back. But did you hear what the Clipper owners, Mr. Sterling? I thank Mr. Sterling for being honest about it. You know, I mean, sorry for what? He ain't gonna apologize to you.
You're watching live, Detroit, Highland Park, Michigan.
But it's only when people are honest with you that you know what your next move's supposed to be. Do you understand? You know, I could say, well, Justice Thomas was voting his conscience. If he had a history of doing anything for us. But anything that ever came up for us, he was against it. So, you know, we ain't gonna hear that from you. That's why you can't come out and defend it. The only thing you could do is try to hope that you could put the one who's see it on the spot and make him start backpedaling. You ain't gonna make me backpedal. It's just like when you was getting on Minister Farrakhan about dirty or gutter religion. Either way, it says that's what the scriptures say. All your religions are as filthy rags. Now I said it. Now come in there and get on me about it. Calling a black man an anti-Semite. How in the world? That's like calling a father anti his children. If I was against you, I'd just let you sit up there and believe a lie. If I was against you. I'm telling you the truth because I'm trying to save you. Allah so told me, son of man, give him warning from me. And when I say to that wicked that he shall die in his iniquity, and you fail to give him warning, he shall die in his iniquity, but I will hold you responsible. I'll require his blood at your hands. But if you warn the wicked, whether he hear you or not, then you have delivered your soul. That's how I saved me, because I ain't been right either. I ain't no sense in me stand up in line. There's a lot of things I done that I'm ashamed of. But, you know, when you're dealing with a cesspool, and you got a bunch of catfish out there, and all of them crooked, you find one that you can train how to get them out of there, and they say, yeah, you go there and help them, and I'll spare you. Well, that's basically what it is. This ain't the pot calling the kettle black. You know, it ain't no way we can actually condemn white folks without condemning ourselves too, because we've been following them. Well, no, so ain't no sense in pointing all the blame on him. Who making you do all this wrong that you doing to black people now? Who making you do that? Young brother, who making you drive by and murder your fellow black man? Who making you do? The white man make you do that? Or is that you doing that? That's that wicked mind in you that's making you want to murder your brother. They have gone in the way of Cain. You know, Cain was a murderer of his own brother. So I'm just telling all of you, it's time to change. That's why the scripture called Jacob a worm. And it's time for all of our mindset that came from Jacob, it's time for that worm in us to die. As it says, and their worm dieth not. Well, you know, it's time for all us to let that mindset that Jacob put in us. And he used, you know, he made white people. His name was changed to Israel. And so now that worm, it's time for it to die. Just like when it's time for the caterpillar to turn into a butterfly, he must be ready to be wrapped up inside of a cocoon. He must die as a caterpillar and become a new creature. You notice, you don't call him a caterpillar anymore. Once he comes back out, he's no longer called caterpillar. He's called butterfly. He's called moth. He's called something else, right? His worm died, and he now became that new creature. And if any man be in Christ, he is a new creature. Come on in the scriptures with me. Come on in these classes with me and get wrapped up in the mind that was in all of the messengers of God. And you will become a new person. Do you understand? Does anyone disagree? Come in here and tell me why people shouldn't listen to me. This is your opportunity to tell people why they should not listen to me. Now I'm gonna let you say it, no matter, you know, how but I do want you to give them proof. You know, I mean, just because you don't like me, that don't mean people shouldn't listen to me. The book said they hated me without a cause. So come in here and tell the people why you hate me. What did I ever do to you to make you hate me? Well, I'm listening. You hear that? Can y'all hear that? That's the sound of people giving you reason why they hate me. Now over in the book, I'm talking about the Bible. in the 16th chapter of John, pardon me, the 15th chapter of John, it says, in the 24th verse, but I need to show you something else before I show you this. Chris Matthews and them was pretty hard on Romney and those who put him up to that lie. Now, how are you supposed to link all white people in with that? They got on them about it. So how am I gonna not thank them for it? I thank them for telling the truth about it. You know, I mean, and that don't mean they got to agree with everything I say either. But if I say the truth, don't try to turn what I say into something other than what it was. Don't try to misrepresent me. You let me tell you, I'm going to be honest with you. I haven't sit up here and pretended that I was in love with white folks. But at the same time, how I feel about you is not determined under no one umbrella. How I feel about you is based on how you do me and how you treat my people. If you for right, then your color ain't got nothing to do with right and wrong. Neither does mine. People who are for right are all brothers. Jesus said it in this way: whosoever doeth the will of my Father, the same is my mother and my brother and my sister. And you go and twist it and make it into whatever you want. But I ain't playing your skin game no more. Now, let's see here. Oh, I wanted to show you something. You know, all of these, why do you think Allah said to me, Son of man, take the book and eat it up and go and speak with my words? Now, if the words in the book don't go along with what I'm doing, then people have a cry against me. But if the words in the book seem to match up with what I'm doing, then it's not me with the problem. It's you who don't accept me. You're the one that's going to have the problem. I want to show you something here. Just give me a minute. Just give me a few minutes here and I'm going to show you. See, it's not me that had the problem. It's you. See if I can do this quick. Let's see here. We ain't got to. Y'all bear with me because it's written here in the book, the things that I'm trying to get you to see. The book is being fulfilled. You know, it's just like people who try to force morality on people. You can't force people to have morals. You can train a child up in the way that he is to have morals. And for the most part, when he becomes an old man, he won't depart from that. Do you understand? The scripture teaches you, you train a child up in the way he is to go. And when he becomes old, he won't depart from it. You know, it's just like a crooked tree. You see a crooked tree all bent and whatnot. That tree didn't just get bent when it was old. It grew bent from a twig. Do you understand? You got to straighten it out while it's a little thing. Otherwise, what it becomes, when it becomes old, it's going to be in that same crooked way. So I want you to listen and pay attention. So I got much to show you. This is this is what I've been trying to help you to do for yourself. I'm not interested in doing everything for you. I want to put you in a position to show you that it's in you to do for yourself. Now, look at this. Put it on, bro. Yeah, don't worry, sound won't come on in there. Now, Congressman Ryan, these is black men working in the inner city, trying to do for ourselves, just with the little money that we put there. They're trying to do something. And instead of you saying, well, let's see if we can help these people, you trying to take what little that was there to help them. And the only reason that you don't see more being done is because you put a bunch of people over a lot of programs purposely that you know either don't want to do nothing or don't know what to do with the funds. So when the funds are there, it never anything hardly gets accomplished because the wrong people are in charge of it. So put it back on them, brother. I mean, they can hear me. They don't have to see me. You see this brother with this saw here, cutting them bricks? I know, I had one person left on there. Is that thing going to get done in our lifetime? Making fun. To hell with you. That's why I was telling you. See, they damn you if you do. If you try to do something, they say you're going too slow. And if you don't do nothing, they say you're lazy. Anything to try to put up a false image of black man. And when you're a black man like me, they pretend you don't exist. Just like they tried to do the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Bring up any time where you saw any of the major news networks come up and ask him anything. Yeah, you through misrepresenting us. If you smart. If you ain't, you're going to be rebuilding towns and cities all over America. And every time you rebuild, they're going to get knocked over again. And you're going to be saying, I ain't know what's happening here. These tornadoes and stuff, they just keep on coming. They just keep on coming. It ain't that they just keep on coming, they keep on being sent.
I'll be living. I'll have faith in all that you do. Just come on and I'll be there.
I just wanted you to, I want all of you to see that you can hate me all you want, but I ain't did nothing but try to help you. I said I want all of you to see that I ain't did nothing but try to help you. And you can hate me all you want, but I'm the last one that you're going to see. And you, so just keep on. Let me see here. Which one was this? I'm
Mr. President.
What happens if we raise the minimum wage?
I see a lot of people
Oh, don't worry. I'm gonna quit after a while.
Still strangers passing by, and if I don't pray, break my dress and say the truth. Oh, my love you. I've been lost so deep and true. Cause don't you know, still wanting from me, still wanting from me, still wanting from me, still wanting from me.
In the 15th chapter of the book of John, it says, it's starting at the 17th verse. It says, "These things I command you, that you love one another. If the world hates you, you know that it hated me before it hated you." You know, that's what the book says, that when the Son of Man come, says, "You did it to the least of these my brethren, you did it unto me. As you hated my brethren, the prophets and messengers, you hate me too." And it says, "If you were of the world would love his own. But because you are not of the world, but I have chosen you out of the world, therefore the world hated you." It don't say son of the world, it says son of man. I'm of these men here that you call prophets. They produced the mind that's standing here talking to you. And because you hated Moses, because you hated Solomon, you hated Jesus, you hated Muhammad. How you know that? Why you say that? We love Jesus. Jesus said, "If you love me, keep my commandments." Which of you have kept the commandments? What kind of way? He said, "Love ye one another even as I have loved you." Love is an action word. It's a verb. You get mad because you somehow let a president get elected that actually cares something about the American people. And you mad because he really did mean what he was saying in campaign, because you get up there and lie about what you're going to do and you ain't planning on doing nothing. You don't love your neighbor as yourself. That's why you have some of them bold enough to stand up there and tell you that they don't see no need for no minimum wage. Huh? But he making $190,000 a year out of your tax money. Ask him to work for $7 and something an hour. He wouldn't work for $10.10 an hour. But you know, it's all about slavery. It got everybody enslaved, and then got everybody who enslaved, got us all looking at each other based on color, blaming each other for our troubles. I ain't gonna play your skin game no more. It's just like the next move for the millionaire basketball club. The next move for all them black millionaires that's playing basketball and entertaining people and drawing in millions of dollars per game. You know what your next move is? Leave the NBA, form your own teams, you got enough money to build your own arenas. And black and white people will still come and watch you play, and you can keep all the money. We ain't got to put up with no foolishness like this stuff no more. Talking about it's a culture. Well, if that's the culture, let's leave it. Let's start a new culture. A culture of love and respect for the human family. The 20th verse says, remember the word that I said unto you. The servant is not greater than his Lord. There ain't nobody greater than the word. The messenger, he made me understand that you can't just, and the Holy Quran reminds me, that do you enjoin men to be good and then neglect your own soul while you read the book? That's just his way of saying, now remember now, you got to obey the word just like you telling them to do now. The servant is not greater than his Lord. Huh? When you get a justice on the Supreme Court that starts twisting the Constitution, calling, I mean, how do you call people being able to buy elections the right of free speech? When bribery is against the law. You say it's okay for people one man to put as much money into behind a candidate as he feel like. You remove all of the protections that have been protecting your government from being bought and sold. Then somebody like Grover Norquist come in there talking about we got 40 and we need to get the rest of them so we can reduce the government of America to the size that it can fit in the bathtub. Then they will be wondering what we're up to. A man who got nerve enough to talk to you like that is as good as saying you a fool and I know it and I'm finna take this. That's what he's really saying to you. And then you clap it. And you call me stupid. You call me the slave. I notice ain't nobody saying I'm lying. What am I misrepresenting? Tell me what I'm misrepresenting. I mean, you got a right to do that. I don't want to stand up here and misrepresent anything. In the 20th verse, it says, remember the word that I said unto you, the servant is not greater than his Lord. If they have persecuted me, they will also persecute you. If they have kept my sayings, they will keep yours also. But all these things will they do unto you for my name's sake, for the word of God's sake. Because they hate the word of God. You know, people coming in and you said you God, you said you this. And I just read it in the book. The book says the Son of Man is Lord. The book says, know ye that the Lord, he is God. So what am I supposed to say? I'm the Son of Man, but I'm not the Lord, and I'm not God. Then you will say, well, the Bible says the Son of Man is Lord, and the Son of Man is God. So, nigga, what is you talking about? I once knew a man who was caught up to paradise and heard words that is unlawful for a mortal to speak. But whatsoever he shall hear, that shall he speak. Why they didn't jump on me with that? CNN. They were scared I was going to take you and show you that I was just saying what the book said. And they didn't want to get in no argument with the book. So you notice they started cutting me out the clip after I started talking about it. But it's too late. I'm in the clip already. But anyway, let's go a little bit further. It says, remember, it says, but all these things will they do unto you for my name's sake. That ain't the first time you saw them words. He leadeth me in the path of righteousness. For whose sake? And his name, he had a name written that no man knew but he himself. And his name is called what? The Word of God. So, what did it say? But all these things will they do unto you for my name's sake, for the Word of God's sake. Huh? And it says, let's read on. Because they know not him that sent me. To know is to understand. They understand not him that sent me. No man know who the Father is but the Son, and he to whom the Son will reveal him. I'm the only one that can reveal the truth of what these books is talking about. And the book is the one that I got my instruction from. They know not him that sent me. When General Colin Powell was exercising his authority to go in there and what was that first one? Desert Storm? Was he the commanding general in Desert Storm? Well, anyway, whichever one of them deserts it was. Excuse me. I'm sorry. But he had his orders. He had written orders. You got to get it in writing because people might later on say, I didn't send you over there. Well, it is right here. I got my orders here. And here it is right here in the book. Son of man, I do send thee unto them. It's written. I got my orders in writing. You want to know who sent me? The Word of God sent me to you. Said, take the Word and put it inside of you, and then you speak. Because they've been twisting the Word. As long as the Word was just in the book here, they've been taking it and twisting it and adding in and taking out. Son of man, eat it up. Now you go speak. I bet they won't twist what you say. Come in here and twist something I said. Revise it. Come on, revise it. Is this the revision I'm giving you here? Okay. It goes on to say, but all these things will they do unto you for my name's sake, because they know not him that sent me. They don't know the truth. Then it says, if I had not come and spoken unto them, they had not had sin. But now they have no cloak for their sin. The Son of Man, what was I told to do? Take the book, eat it, and go and speak to them with my words. If I had not come and spoken unto them, they had not had sin, but now they have no cloak for their sin. He that hateth me, hateth my Father also. As I told you, you got come in here railing and going on me, and all I was doing was quoting what the Word of God said. And if they hate me, they hateth my Father also. Then it says, if I had not done among them the works which none other man did. You see anybody else? Not just taking up money from you, but showing you exactly what's being done with it as he take it up. Who else doing that? Come on, who? If I had not done a work among them that no other, which none other man did, they had not had sin. But now have they both seen and hated both me and the Word of God and my Father. Then it says, the father of anything is the author of that thing. But this cometh to pass, that the word might be fulfilled that is written in their books, in their law. They hated me without a cause. I just asked you to come in here and tell the people, give the people why. What is the cause of your hatred of me? What did I do? This ain't exclusive to black people. It's to white people, to everybody that's listening. Why you hate me? What have I done in the way of harm to anyone? You used to say Muslims don't believe in the Holy Bible. And I stand up here and show you not only do I believe in it, I am the Holy Bible. I am the Holy Quran. They are one in me. If it ain't so, come in here and prove it. You remember when I asked that brother who was in the nation, why are you not following me? Why you say you love the messenger, you say you was his follower, why you don't follow me? And he was honest enough to say, I have no excuse. I'm asking all of you, why you don't accept and follow me? I already know the answer. Allah already told me what the answer is. But you have no excuse. That's why you are silent. See, you're saying you don't have no excuse, because if you had an excuse with your hatred of me, oh man, you'd been and came in here and told it. But all you got is hatred in your heart and jealousy and envy. You know, when you get jealous of a person and you start envying them, well, that tells you a number of things. See, jealousy and envy, they are the catalysts that helps to produce unjust hatred. That's why you have people sometime when they, it's just like some of them people that heard me say, okay, you look at the news, look at the weather reports. And then now when you see something come through Jefferson County here and tear up my property and tear up something that I'm on, then you know I must not be who I say I am. So they hear anything about Jefferson County. It could be Jefferson County, Alabama. It could be Jefferson County somewhere. They say, see, it tore up. They want me not to be who I am so bad. You know, when you get really thirsty, you start looking and seeing water where it ain't none. And people want to see something terrible happen to me so bad. And it's not that, you know how the mafia used to say, it ain't personal, it's just business. The reason they want me not to be who I am is because they know that if I am the Son of Man, they are damned for not accepting me. And they ain't got no proof that I'm not the Son of Man. So they don't sleep well. They're not at peace. Because all the time, and they be sitting in there listening, but they only listening to try to find something to justify rejecting me, so they can finally be at peace about it. Yes. I didn't hear you.
Reminding you of 10 minutes till.
Yes, sir. 10 minutes till. All right. Thank you, brother. They wish the same thing about the messenger, and he told them about it. He said, many times you wish that Elijah Muhammad and his God, Master Farad Muhammad, was dead so that you could go on with your devils. Notice he said with your devils. Yeah. Your devils is your evil thoughts. You love the wickedness that you practicing. You love all of this mess that's going on in this world. You love the drugs. You love the alcohol. You love the prostitution. You love the pornography. You love the homosexuality. You love the lesbianism. You love all of the things that God said don't do. And every time a man from God came to tell you that God don't like that, you love to kill him. And that's what you wish you could do to me. But wait and see. I notice ain't nobody saying nothing. Didn't I tell you one day your mouth wasn't going to be running? Didn't I tell you I wasn't going to have to take that from you forever? That day has arrived. Now when you come in here and disrespect me, you're going to pay the price right now. I didn't say when you come in here and put forth arguments to try to see if what I'm saying is right. Certainly you can argue. I have no problem with you arguing. But the disrespect, I'm not taking it no more. I don't have to. Allah told me whatever my judgment is, that's what it will be. He have given me authority to execute judgment because I'm the Son of Man. I'm one of you. Didn't you say a man have a right to a trial by a jury of his peers? And that you cannot give a person justice if the fulcrum that you are using is bent. We don't need no prejudice in here. Prejudice is just another word of saying prejudging people. You judging before you even know what's going on. Why? Because he looks white. So I ain't thinking about him. I don't care what he said. He can't do no good in my eyes. You can't be no judge over nobody thinking like that. We seen what happens when you get judges like that. 400 years worth. No. Nope. I give you justice. It's just like my DIs. You notice, I still remember my DIs. Drill instructors, excuse me. Sergeant Good, Staff Sergeant, Sergeant Jester, Staff Sergeant Good, and Gunnery Sergeant Lopez. And it was 1003, platoon 1003. That's my boot camp platoon. That's when I was 19 years old. Still remember my service number. And, you know, I thank them men. If I could meet them right now, I would thank each and every one of them for what they taught me. I sure would. Because I was a better person after I came out of there than I was when I went in there. But that was God's doing. And he used them to teach me some things. I didn't buy into the kill thing, but I did learn to control myself. I did learn discipline. Because a man who can't control himself, he can't control whatever it is he's supposed to have control over. You know, I love to run my mouth, and I was doing what I did in high school and all of that kind of thing. You know, I just love to talk to people and whatnot. One time the drill instructor came and gave me one hard one across the face, and I run off at the mouth. You know, it was embarrassing more than anything. And I got the message. You know, there's a time and a place for everything. If you don't know how to take orders, you're not qualified to give any. That's the truth. That's why I have such great respect for the vice president. I mean, I know that he has opinions. I know that he has, you know. I mean, they even said that he's a loose cannon. He don't look like no loose cannon to me. If he was as loose as they was claiming, how come they ain't found them Republicans been looking for something? Huh? Joseph Biden didn't give them nothing. That ain't by accident. You know, I have great respect for that man. And that tells me something about President Obama's leadership ability also. He chose the right man for his vice president. And you say what you want. You know, you don't choose my friends for me. A friend is as a friend does. We out of time. I'm going to give you the number to the conference room, and you come back in there a half hour from now, and I will be teaching on some other things and going into some more depth of things with you. The number is area code 712-432-0075. Again, the number is area code 712-432-0075. The access code is 912-932, and then you push the pound key. The access code is 912-932, and then you push the pound key. And then we will be there a half hour from now, if it pleases Allah. And I look forward to talking with you then. And if you had something that you wanted to ask that you just thought of that you didn't get a chance to because you ran out of time in 3 hours, you feel free to come on in here and talk with me. I promise you I will let you argue if you have an argument, and then I will offer you reasons why I say and do what I do, if that's what's required. Until a half hour from now, may Allah bless us all and grant us peace and hearts that are willing to receive His words. Allah's Salam Alaikum.